Some wounds never truly heal. They just scar over. That scar is a constant reminder of the day my world came crashing down. My name is Derek, and this is the story of how my wife Alicia shattered our marriage by cheating with someone I trusted, someone from my own inner circle. We had what I thought was a perfect life. 15 years of marriage, 2 amazing kids, a beautiful home in the suburbs. We were high school sweethearts, the couple everyone looked up to. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our shared dreams. I worked hard as an architect to provide for us, and Alicia was a wonderful stay-at-home mom. She was the heart of our family, the sun my world revolved around, or so I believed. The cracks started to appear subtly. At first it was small things. Alicia started spending more time on her phone, smiling at texts she'd quickly hide if I walked into the room. She began having more girls' nights out, coming home late, smelling of a perfume I didn't recognize mixed with wine. When I asked, she'd just say she needed a break. That being a mom was exhausting. I felt guilty for even questioning her. I told myself I needed to be more supportive. Then came the changes with my best friend Mark. Mark and I had been inseparable since college. He was the best man at our wedding, the godfather to our son. He was over at our house all the time for barbecues, game nights, you name it. He was family. But recently, the dynamic had shifted. The easy banter between him and Alicia turned into something else. Lingering looks, private jokes I wasn't in on, a strange tension in the air whenever they were together. I tried to ignore it, chalking it up to my own paranoia. I was stressed from a big project at work. Maybe I was just imagining things. Who would even think that? My wife and my best friend? It was the plot of a bad movie, not my life. I pushed the thoughts away, ashamed for even having them. The truth, however, has a way of forcing itself into the light. It happened on a Saturday afternoon. I came home early from work wanting to surprise Alicia and the kids. The house was quiet. The kids were at their grandparents' for the weekend, something Alicia had arranged. I walked in, calling her name. No answer. I headed upstairs to our bedroom, and that's when I heard it. Whispers, and a laugh that wasn't hers. My heart started pounding in my chest. I pushed the bedroom door open, and there they were. My wife, Alicia, and my best friend, Mark. In our bed, the scene is burned into my memory, a permanent, searing image of betrayal. The shock was so profound I couldn't even speak. It was like my body had frozen, but my mind was screaming. They scrambled, pulling sheets around themselves, their faces a mixture of panic and shame. The silence in that room was deafening. I just turned around and walked out. I got in my car and just drove, with no destination in mind. The perfect life I thought I had was a lie. Every memory, every shared laugh, every I love you, was now tainted. When I finally came home hours later, the house was dark. Alicia was sitting on the couch, her face tear-streaked. Else, Mark was gone. She started talking, a torrent of apologies, excuses, and pleas. She said it was a mistake, that it didn't mean anything, that she was lonely, that I was always working, that Mark was just there. He listened to her, she said. A mistake. It didn't mean anything. How could she say that? This wasn't a random, one-time slip-up with a stranger. This was with Mark, the man who stood by my side on my wedding day, the man I called my brother. They had planned this. They had coordinated times when I wouldn't be home, when the kids were away. This was a calculated, long-term affair built on a mountain of lies. Every word she said felt like another stab in the back. She cried, she begged for forgiveness, she promised it would never happen again. She said she still loved me, that she wanted to save our family. But as I looked at her, I didn't see the woman I had loved for half my life. I saw a stranger. The trust, the very foundation of our relationship, was not just broken, it was obliterated. How could I ever trust her again? How could I look at her and not see her with him in our bed? The thought was nauseating. The love I felt for her had been replaced by a cold, hollow ache of betrayal. I told her I needed space. I slept in the guest room for weeks. We lived like ghosts in our own home, the silence filled with unspoken accusations and regrets. She tried everything. She cooked my favorite meals, left me notes, tried to initiate conversations about our good times. But it was like trying to glue together a shattered vase. The pieces would never fit the same way again, and the cracks would always be visible. The hardest part was the kids. We had to pretend everything was normal for them, but kids are smart. They could feel the tension, the coldness between us. My son asked me why I wasn't sleeping in the same room as Mommy anymore. That question broke what was left of my heart. I confronted Mark, of course. He couldn't even look me in the eye. He mumbled something about being sorry, that he never meant for it to happen. He tried to explain that he was going through his own issues, and he and Alicia just connected. I didn't want to hear it. I told him I never wanted to see him again. I had lost my wife and my best friend in one fell swoop. After months of this agonizing limbo, I knew a decision had to be made. Forgiveness is a noble concept, but some things are unforgivable. I looked at Alicia one evening and realized I would never be able to look at her the same. The image of her betrayal was always there, lurking behind her eyes. Staying together would mean a lifetime of suspicion, of replaying that horrible scene in my head. It would mean living a lie for the sake of the kids, and that wasn't fair to any of us. I told her I wanted a divorce. The finality of those words hung in the air, and for the first time in a long time I felt a strange sense of relief. It was the end of our story, but it was also the beginning of my healing. It's been a few years now. The divorce was messy and painful, but we got through it. We co-parent our children, and for their sake we are civil. But the warmth is gone. Alicia and Mark are no longer together. Apparently their connection couldn't survive the wreckage they created. I sometimes see her at school events, and she looks at me with a deep sadness in her eyes, a sadness that I know reflects my own. I'm rebuilding my life, piece by piece. It's not easy. Trust is a hard thing to relearn. But I'm learning to be happy on my own, to find strength in myself. The scar is still there, a faint, pale line on my heart. It reminds me of the pain, yes, but it also reminds me that I survived. And sometimes, survival is the greatest victory of all. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you are not alone and that healing is possible. Even if it feels like a long road. Remember to take care of yourself. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories. We'll see you in the next one.